Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Camera Life Podcast, the random photography show. It's the 9th of June, 2025, and this is episode 86. We're on the march to 100 again.
We're on the march to a lot of things. We've crested 1,100 subscribers. I think we're at about 1,106, which is pretty amazing. Crested. You know, that's when you go over.
Maybe on the march again.
I don't know, because we're on the march to 1,000. And then we're on the march to 2,000.
But now we're on the march to 100 episodes. Yeah.
We stopped marching. We just plateaued.
No, when we hit 100, that's when we go to Japan.
I think what he's trying to say is Jim stopped. It's been a few weeks without Jim, and Greg and I have kept marching. And now Jim's back on the march.
Were you here on Thursday? I don't think you were.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah,
thanks for holding down the fort.
I was here on Thursday, yeah.
Okay, but I was.
All right, that's enough infighting amongst the Camera Life Lucky Straps team. Welcome, everybody. Like I tried to say, this is the Camera Life Podcast, episode 86. Welcome, one and all. If you were keen-eyed, like our good friend Philip Johnson in the chat, hey, Philip, he spotted that we'll blame Justin squarely for this one. Posted the wrong time of today's video, but we are actually here joining you.
Yeah, it was scheduled for today at 1:30 somehow. But I scheduled it on Sunday. I was like, it's Sunday. I'm going to get ahead of the week. I'm going to schedule the show, make all the graphics and stuff. And I must have just pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, I think you just need to calm down on the day drinking.
So if you were waiting, oh no, it wasn't. If you were waiting for the show at 1:30 today, I sincerely apologise. But I'm glad you're here now. Just like Elaine is here, who says late. And Paul, good to see you, Paul, says ... again. Good evening, Philip. And Elena said, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bruce. It's Jim and the others. What the
fuck does that mean?
What does that mean? Because look at Jim's.
He knows what's up.
Look at the black bars that he's got above and below his camera because no one knows how to figure out the feed out of his Nikon Z8.
Hey, but it's working today. It didn't work on Thursday.
That's true.
Either way, it doesn't bode well, does it?
It's intermittent.
Oh, it's working today, Justin. Did you hear? His camera's working today.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. That should be their new slogan. Nikon. It's working today. Sorry, Julie. I'm sorry, Julie. Yeah. Don't kill me. Yes. Evening, Paul, and good evening, Nick Fletcher. Nick says, I am late, but no need to panic. I'm here now. And so are we. We're here now.
Yeah.
We've got a big show. Do we?
We do.
I don't know.
Bits to cover. Yeah, why not?
Bits to cover. There's one big thing to cover.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that the size does matter?
No, we won't get to that. I've changed the name of it to
I've changed it. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And why is it under Jim?
We never get to it anyway. So I was like, does it matter? Apparently it doesn't matter. So
eventually we'll forget.
We don't know.
Anyway, no. So I'm excited about the Micro Greg segment. I don't know if Greg knows what that is, but that'll be exciting for everybody.
Is that just before the size doesn't matter?
Micro Greg doesn't matter.
Micro Greg doesn't matter.
And will be the graphic, the thumbnail of the show was what we're going to be trying to figure out is what are Fujifilm releasing this week? Because there's a new camera on the way. There's a lot of rumors flying around, and
there was two cameras according to the rumors. They were definite, confirmed, but now it's only one.
Oh, definite, confirmed, just one.
Well,
but there still
definitely
could be two.
Confirmed as far as a rumor site was concerned.
Yeah,
they had the inside knowledge. Oh, it's definitely two cameras, and then they quickly changed course. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. But I guess we should do a little bit of a review, see what's going on, what happened last week. Well, first of all, how did the show go on Thursday while I wasn't here? Tell us about it. What did you learn?
It was all right. I don't know. I can't really remember it. It was quite some time ago.
Yeah,
it was a
long weekend.
Okay, that's maybe we need to cover that off first. So straight after that,
maybe you should ask Jim what happened on Thursday, because all I could think about, and speaking to Pete Mallows, who had one eye looking at us and one eye pointed out at his front door, waiting for the postie to arrive with his brand new Nintendo Switch 2. We were both very distracted.
Right. I see.
But it was a lovely chat with Pete.
Again, so Thursday I was having some issues with my camera, and so I was on very late. And when I jumped on, it said Pet Mallows, and I knew that his name was Pete, and I was like, oh, maybe he just goes by Pet.
Like, did you call him Pet?
No.
G'day, Pet.
No, I just kind of like left it, and then at the end of the show, he's like, "Oh, my name says Pet," and I was like, "We probably should have, could have fixed that very early on, but we didn't."
This is
so it is Pete Mallows, not Pet Mallows.
It is Pete Mallows, and
yeah,
we had a great chat with Pete. Very down to earth, very just a lovely organic story about how he got into creative image making and how he decided to take a camera while he was running mountain bike tours, and then in Tassie, going to places on mountain bikes with small groups of people that, you could hike, but you couldn't drive to, and taking his camera and all of a sudden discovering a love of photography. It was a really beautiful story.
Excellent.
But now he's got a Switch, and like me, he'll never pick up his camera again.
Never seen. Right. So you've been switching. That's what you've been deep in the Switch all weekend. Did you?
Oh, no, I've done a little bit of work.
Okay. Prove it. Hold your thumbs up. Can you still move them? Show me your thumbs. Do they move?
Got the indents of switches.
They're stuck.
I just can't open my hands properly.
You've got claws.
I've got the claw. Yeah. Yeah, no, I have done some work, and I've played around with the camera that we're going to cover off a bit later.
Ooh, nice.
In the micro Greg section.
I actually got an extra lens for that camera sent to me.
Did you? Well, it's no good over there, is it? It's no good. I've got the camera.
Maybe.
What good is that?
We'll unbox it in the micro Greg segment, and then we'll see how it works, how they fit together.
You guys could connect it through the screen.
Through the power of the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of chatter in the chat tonight about Jim's lighting choice. Jim in the red light district without his red checkered flanny. Bruce says, well, he's a boudoir photographer now. He could be moonlighting as something more. Mm-hmm. Is that what's happening? You're making a little extra cash on the side?
No, maybe he's filming himself with those.
No, so I've been using my tube lights for my daughter in the sort of half an hour before bedtime. And I literally just pulled them out of putting her to bed and then ran out here and threw them here. And it was just easier to leave them red than to change anything. So everything went red, and that was just an easy decision.
So the podcast disrupted the bedtime routine. Has she just got like bright white lights in her eyes now instead of the red ones?
No, she's just well, hopefully
she's chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I also would have felt bad.
That's a bit cute.
It's a bit cute.
It's like having your room painted. You can choose whatever color you want.
Dad, can I get a nice night light? You're like, yeah. I've got just the things. My professional video lights that are controlled by an app. What hue would you like?
No, we only do red. So.
Nice. Very cool. Paul says maybe Jim's in the middle of a shoot. Well, if that's what's happening. He's got a boudoir shoot going on in the background.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, Lucinda Goodwin. Good evening, crew. She says, thanks very much for the beautiful lucky strap that arrived last week. Yes. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Tell us, what camera is it going to go on?
Yeah, which one?
Which one of your 147 or something like that you said? Which one?
Did you manage to find an old a spare R5 strap?
No.
Are you going to send us some R5
I forgot. Oh, that's okay. We'll get one down there. I completely forgot about that. We're going to send her one of the limited edition R5 Mark II straps to go with a
don't tell
R5 Mark II.
Because I'll all fucking want one next.
Yeah. Oh, she says it's undecided. Well, let us know when you decide. Give us a heads up. Should we jump to some YouTube comments? Because, should we jump to I didn't go to the week in review section of our graphics. I spent so much time on these. I should do it. Ready? All right.
You got. Oh, takes my breath away every time.
So good.
The week in review.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring some YouTube comments up from the past week because that's what we do. Because we like it when people comment. This one was good from at Daniel TKX AZYK Film. Says very interesting, great video. Thanks lots. That was on my video about Canon high ISO comparing the R5 to the R5 and the R3. And yeah.
How long ago held that video?
A year, maybe.
I say because I don't remember. I didn't see that you dropped one this week. So
no, it's not a new video. They still get views and comments and stuff. It's nice. People get in
they
there.
do.
It's a useful comparison. It's not the most perfect comparison. I've had people pick on me for downsizing the R5 files to the size of the R3 files as JPEG outputs to compare the final JPEG output at the same size. And I was told that was wrong, but I still stand for that.
You should be burned at the stake for such an act.
Correct. I believe it's correct. What do you guys think? If you're going to compare a 24 megapixel camera to a 45 megapixel camera at high ISO, it's unfair to just zoom into 100% because the 45 megapixel camera is going to show a lot more noise. But if you size them the same, like if you were printing them, say if you were going to print them both at A2, what would they look like at the same output size? That's what I'm interested in. Anyway, I kind of did that in that video. The R3 still beats the pants off them. And interestingly, the R5 is better than the R5 Mark II at high ISO.
Wow.
So there you go. So you're selling your R5 Mark II for an R5?
No, because the autofocus on the R5 Mark II smokes it, and the electronic shutter is far better and faster and more useful for sports. Anyway, next comment. The drunk wedding photographer says, "Hey, that's me." I was referencing another comment. You're in a loop now. So now he might comment on this and be like, "Hey, that's me," and then we'll just be stuck going around in circles
forever.
This was a good one. So this was on our one of our discussions about the X-Half, the Fujifilm X-Half, one of our many discussions. At Zakari Carr, speaking of bringing on younger people to photography and the X-Half, or the Half X, that's a better name. It's actually a better the Half X.
A much better name.
A terrible experience may drive them off as well. Nothing puts people off starting out. Nothing puts people starting out off more than results not meeting their expectations, especially compared to what else they see on social media. By the sounds of it, from images, the image quality to user experience, it's primed to be a disappointment machine. The price would then be a multiplier to that disappointment. Now, it's a fairly negative comment, but I actually kind of get what he's saying, where it's like you go out and you spend this big money on this cool camera that's been marketed as the next thing, but your photos are still not going to look like the photographers that you follow on Instagram. It doesn't have that capability.
Or necessarily better than your smartphone.
That's right. So you're looking for it to take you to the next level. Hey, I want that beautiful bokeh. I want I want great higher level image quality because I follow these photographers, and now I've gone out and invested in my first camera that's going to take me out of being on a smartphone. But you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the same thing as if you put a nifty 50 even on a crop sensor camera, a bottom of the range crop sensor camera, and you start shooting it wide open. And you're like, oh, cool, that looks different. I can't do that on my smartphone. Well, unless in portrait mode. Anyway, what do you guys think about that comment?
I think it's a real risk, because they're trying to attract a new demographic or younger crowd, and it's a fair comment that the experience will be fun. There's no doubt about that. It'll be a bit confusing and a bit perplexing, but the outcome versus the effort doesn't quite match up. Because you go to that trouble of shooting without an LCD, like if you're in film camera mode.
Oh yeah, yep.
And not actually knowing how your images turn out, you're gonna produce a lot of shit images before you actually get the hang of it.
And you're kind of hoping that they're going to look epic because you bought this cool camera, this new big upgrade from your smartphone, and they're not really going to look epic. Like you might get lucky on a few, but it's more. It's almost that style. That experience is more for photographers that are happy to accept lower quality, but for an experience a more mindful shooting experience, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was an interesting comment. I appreciate it.
You were going to say something, Jim. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say I have no idea what that camera is. I haven't looked it up yet.
Right, I see you've been gone for it's all we've talked about for 3 weeks.
I just looked it up then.
I was just a part-time podcaster. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen any of the
Zero.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
So what do you think?
Well,
I have no idea about. I literally just
Jim. What do you think? Tell us your thoughts.
I just Googled the half X and it came up anyway.
I actually put a poll up asking people what they thought of the camera and if they were going to buy it. And one of the options was, what's the X half? So you obviously didn't respond to that poll, but if you did, there's an option there for you.
Yeah, that's what I would.
If Nikon don't make it, Jim don't care.
Nah. Well, look, I'm not going to use that camera.
All right. Last few comments. We'll whip through a few more. Pete Mallows says on his own show, thanks for having me on, guys. Great to see some Pentax love out there too. Shame I misspelled my own name.
Good on you, Pete.
Pet Mallows. Thank you.
What a pet.
Levin Barrett, Rare View Photography. Great interview, guys. This was on the Andrew Ravenko interview. I really love Andrew's Rocket Girl images. It was an unrepeatable alignment of the right guy, the right girl, and the right time. Yeah,
great.
Very cool. Great interview. If you haven't listened to that yet, the Andrew Ravenko interview, it's episode 80. Another comment by Roger Highland, 8283.
Hey, Rog.
On that, discussing the Rocket Girl Chronicles. It's like the human race doesn't exist anymore. A bit like Goldilocks finding the three bears' house with the bowls of porridge.
Yeah.
It was. Very cool series.
Yeah. It was a very cool.
Last comment, at 500 miles smiles. It's a good name. This is commenting on a clip we put up about Matt Crummins talking about raw files. At the 2-minute 48 mark, I agree 100% with Matt. Makes complete sense. I'm not quite sure what that is referring to because I can't remember what it was at that point in that clip. I didn't go back and look at it. But I think it was obviously Matt's thoughts on giving raw files to clients, and check that clip out if you want to know what he thinks. But the gist of it is make sure you know why they want the raw files before you make any hard and fast decisions. You probably shouldn't have a firm rule that you never do it, but you also shouldn't just give them out willy-nilly. And the other critical thing he mentioned, there's a big difference between giving out raw files for business purposes and giving them out for art purposes. And I think in general, he's a pretty firm no for art purposes. It would have to be quite a special reason. Whereas commercially, it would be he'd be much more likely to hand them over. But check the clip out if you want that in Matt's words in a bit more detail.
Very cool.
Very cool. What else? Should we move on to some news and rumors? You got anything else to review in your week? You've just been switching, Greg, so you're pretty...
No, I said I've done work. Hey, come on.
I've done some work. Nintendo podcast.
I put a battery in the OM3, so, made a start on my review.
Nice. Battery turns on. Check.
Yeah, I found the button that turns it on, the switch. Let's jump to
the
news,
Nintendo Switch.
I found the switch. Yeah. I am a teenager, Greg Carrick.
Oh, dear. Let's move on to news and rumors.
All right.
What do we got?
What are they? We don't know.
Oh, I've been keeping up this week. There's a little bit going on.
There's a little bit going on. There's a few. I'll bypass some of the XE5, the Fujifilm rumors.
Why is everything Fuji related?
It's all.
Well, they've got an event coming up this week, Jim. They've got an X Summit, but they have been that. I mean, that's something we're talking about before we get to that segment. Is Fuji have been releasing some stuff like this year? They've been pumping out.
They have
cameras. They've had two big releases.
Yeah.
The coolest point and shoot camera, I guess, the most powerful point and shoot camera ever made, and then possibly the least powerful point and shoot camera ever made. To bookend their releases. And then hopefully this one, maybe it's not going to be a point and shoot, but it could be a nice Goldilocks release that people have been waiting for. So we'll talk about that more. But yeah, Fuji have been pumping some stuff out, so that's why there's a bit going on.
There is a bit going on. But speaking of them, I mean, their popularity and resulting sales have continued to climb over recent years, especially on this side of the pandemic. They've really made some great strides. So let me just bring up a little bit of Fuji news that's not related to what we want to talk about later. Fujifilm have, where'd it go? Sorry, everybody. I will get the hang of this at one stage. I know that's quite small for a lot of people. Basically, it says Fujifilm have moved production of 4 popular cameras back to Japan in order to avoid the US tariffs because they were previously made in China, I believe, or Malaysia or somewhere. So the X100 Mark VI, the XT5, the XT50, and the XM5 for American markets will now be made in Japan. Everywhere else, so the units that are shipped to us or to Europe, they'll be made in China or wherever else they have facilities set up to make those. But it's just an interesting move that they've actually been able to pivot fairly quickly to move production back to Japan for those, really popular cameras, all of them.
That's a big move.
It's a big move. Now, don't take this in any kind of controversial way. I'm not on one side or another of anything. But does that mean that these tariffs are having impacts that could, they're not obviously benefiting anyone really, other than actually it's benefiting Japan, maybe. I don't know. I guess Fujifilm's a Japanese company. So they could have moved that production back there anytime they wanted to, but is it hurting China? And is that the point of them? Like if it's like if it's moving production, to move production away from they already had that production up and running over there. It was all good, and now they're moving production away. It's going to be economically hurting them.
Well, they must have done the math, and it must work out that they're going to be better off in the long run.
Fujifilm.
Just to avoid, just to avoid anything to do with China or America at this point, like China making product for America.
While it's all up in the air, fluctuating, next minute, 100% this, 200% that, like any time things
at least
can change.
For the next 4 years.
Yeah, they'll probably let's remove the volatility and the uncertainty, and let's even know if the prices might be slightly higher or whatever, we know what we're dealing with because we're in control. Yeah.
And it's a realistic business decision to make.
Especially if they've got the capability to do it there, because that's the thing. There's a lot of companies that would go, well, we cannot, we do not, it'll take us 3 years to set something up. They must have been
so we have to put the price up. We have to impact the customer,
or not sell anything, or whatever. What are the options? So it's
they throttled sales of XM5 and the GFX 100 RF. I think they pretty much stopped sales of any new cameras in America this year. They've only just started to release the XM5 again for sale, just while they sorted out this whole tariff thing.
Yeah.
So they actually just went, you know what, we're gonna take a hit. We're not going to sell anything in America for the moment because it's probably just not cost effective.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Couple of good comments. Greg Carrick, that Aussie photographer, says the Trumpster. That's his official title, wanted production to be in America. So that failed. Fair comment.
iPhones being built in America too, doesn't he?
Yeah. That'll be tough.
Let's look at that.
No. Glenn Lavender, Creative Photo Workshops.
Kids chained to their work desks.
The kids?
The kids. It's always the kids.
It's the kids. Glenn Lavender says, last election, the tariffs changed a lot of production to Vietnam, which is why Vietnam has higher tariffs this time. America, I love that it's always America. Don't win in any way, but China has a small dent in its production. Yeah, that's how I'm kind of seeing it at the moment. It's like, hey, we're moving stuff, but it's not going the planned direction yet. But also, I don't know anything about this stuff. I just see the news. Plus, also, we're only looking at like cameras. You know, like it's one tiny little sliver of the world. Paul says, it's more than money. It's supply chain assurance because a Japanese company won't confiscate our factory or have issues with customs. Yeah, I can see your factory. Yes.
Sorry.
He corrected it. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Tim. Yeah. Exactly. So that's got to be a massive part of it. Like, I'd rather have a locked-in, slightly higher price than a who knows what price or a who knows if we can even get product or whatever. Yeah. Makes total sense.
It does. It's disappointing state of affairs, you know.
Yeah, but also, what can you do? Sit back here on our podcast and fling mud. Glenn follows up to say, hopefully we see more product shipped into our supply chain and that will lower prices. That'd be cool. X half those prices. X half them.
X half them. Half X them.
Half X.
Wait, which way is this? Wait, which way? It's the half X, isn't it?
X half is the actual name. Half X is the new name.
Oh, that's a way better name.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Half X.
Can you get them to
like
change
the half X?
If they can pivot production, they can just move the X to the other side of half.
We've talked about the camera too much, so I don't really want to talk about it again on this show. But I just find it's so fun. So, like, you don't even know that the sensor is vertical.
No, it did look funny when I looked it up before.
It's only half a sensor.
So you take a photo with this way, but the photo's this way.
Actually, I think I did watch.
He's frozen. You froze. You froze like that.
Oh, did I?
Take it this way, but it's actually this way.
Best
demonstration. I think I did watch that show. I remember you talking about that.
And you were just like, I don't care. This camera is nothing to me.
Yeah. I won't bet Nikon.
Not a Nikon. What else is news? There's a new Sigma APS-C lens coming out. I think it's going to all mounts. But I grabbed this off the Fuji rumours site. It's a 17 to 40 f1.8.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week, but this must be an updated article maybe.
These are some leaked images.
I love that they write Fuji rumours all over them all the time. It's always funny.
It's so dumb. It's because they had a fight with Fuji Addict years ago.
And they were stealing each other's
photos. Stealing each other's leaked photos. And I remember, there was an argy-bargy.
Really annoy them.
You could. Yeah. But anyway, it's a big lens. That's it on like an XT5, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 17 to 1.8. 17, but 17 to 40, 1.8. That is, it's going to be a beefy lens. Plus, it doesn't help when it's designed for smaller camera bodies. That makes it look even, bigger than. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say it was
from memory, it's coming to everything.
Yeah, it's coming to everything, including Canon. Canon. APS-C.
APS-C. It's all APS-C.
Yeah, so Canon are allowing third-party lenses to go into their APS-C, which I think is a good... I don't know if
it's going to Nikon, but it's definitely going to... I think it's going to L mount, Sony, and Fuji and Canon. Maybe Nikon. I can't remember. Sorry. I don't know if it says it here.
In the comments, Wookie says, yes, Sigma, which is cool. I agree. Yes, Sigma. And also in the comments, Glenn Lavender, Creative Photo Workshop, says, I heard there was an amazing photo tour to Bangladesh launched a week or so ago.
Ooh, I'll have to bring that up and have a look.
I saw that and I was like, I would like to go on that. I would like to go to Bangladesh.
Yeah.
But you also scared me a little bit, Glenn, because you said it was not, India's a lot easier to travel than Bangladesh. So, I don't know if I'm ready. I think India needs to come first. It sounds very cool. Should we bring it up? Is it on your website, Glenn?
Let's bring it up.
Oh, if it's launched, do you think it would be?
I wonder if the website is Creative Photo Workshops. It's one hell of a place.
Oh, we got a new follower. Is it Logan?
Logan checking in from America, walking my dogs. It's 5 a.m. here. How y'all doing? Whereabouts in America?
Logan.
And also, g'day. We're doing great. How are you doing?
He did say America too, not America, like everyone else in the comments tonight.
Yeah, there's a slight insinuation when you say America compared to America.
Yeah.
Creative photo workshops. Glenn says India much easier. Fortunately, there may be one of those launching soon too.
Mm-hmm.
David Dare Parker in the chat. Bangladesh well worth a visit. Is it dangerous, David? Do I need to be prepared? Should I go to India first? Or do I just rip the Band-Aid off and go straight to Bangladesh with no plans and just see how it goes?
Chat's going.
Workshops. No, photo tours. It'll be photo tours. It is. It's going crazy. Let's share this tab instead. Actually, first, let's see if there is actually Bangladesh on here. I can't find it. Oh, I found it. Share this
David
tab
Dare
instead.
Parker said, Justin, to do both.
Do both. I mean, that's a good idea. We should do that. Logan is in Iowa. That's cool. That's very cool.
Central.
Tell us, Logan. Tell us your story. What's going on? What sort of camera do you shoot with? Tell us all about it.
He's just cover the podcast. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing.
Well, we're enjoying having you. It's all about you right now in the chat.
Yeah.
You're a new face. So, Glenn Lavender, February 27th to March 16th, 2026, Bangladesh. My next tour will be to the incredible Bangladesh, a feast for the eyes and the camera, and a place unlike anywhere else on Earth. Drop me an email if you would like a brochure sent to you. Will I get a physical brochure if I email you, Glenn? Will you mail me a brochure?
Yeah, brochure maybe.
Sounds exciting. Is it free? I don't have much money right now.
No, it's a PDF.
It's a PDF. I've printed myself. Now, what else? What else in the news?
Well, there's one more bit of news, but Logan's just asked a very important question. It's about a Fujifilm. I picked up the X100 Mark VI as my everyday documentary camera. I really enjoyed it. How do you guys feel about the camera?
I haven't shot with a 6. I've actually still got the X100 Classic kicking around, which I don't shoot with a lot. I had a S or a T, I can't remember, for a while. It was a good camera. I didn't use it a lot, but I think if I didn't have my Leica Q3, I would definitely be looking at something like that. The form factor is the perfect size. The image quality is the right balance of keeping a camera small, but the image quality has to be good as well. Otherwise, I won't use it. I'll still just want to use my full frame camera. So I think it strikes the perfect balance. It's a little pricey, but also it's got a lot of tech built into it. So, it's got to be pricey. That's unit. Funny, I just said if it wasn't for my Q3, but also it's a little pricey. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? No. So I think it's a great camera.
But it doesn't have the Leica name. So you're expecting to pay. No, but like you are, you're expecting to buy. You're buying a premium camera. You're expecting to pay premium money for it.
Yeah, and the Leica is quite unique in what it's been able to fit into that form factor. Like it's full frame with a pretty epic lens on it, but. Greg, I would like to know, why haven't you ever bought something like the X100 6? Like, why is that not a camera for you, given that you are an absolute Fuji fiend?
I've owned 3 X100s. I've owned the original, the T, and the 4. I didn't love the 4. I just didn't gel with it for some reason. The original 100 is what made me move to Fuji in the first place. So I was shooting big. I was shooting a Canon DSLR, and I had a lot of big L series glass. When I got into digital photography, and the weight was just screwing with my neck, and so I sold it all because I went on a walk with someone, a street walk, and they let me use their original X100, and I just fell in love with it. I just thought this was just phenomenal. And so I got one, and then I got the T, and then I got the 4, but the 4 I just didn't vibe with. But granted, when I got the 4, I had 3 other cameras. I just didn't find myself taking out the X100. So I sold it. I haven't gone to the 6 as much as I would love to. mostly because of price. And what do I really need for my kit? I've got my X80, my X70, which I love as my kind of, I just throw it in my bag and it's fixed lens. It's just my little sort of fun street camera. And I've got my XC4 and my primes, and I'm kind of happy with that. But having said that, I have reviewed the X100VI, and it is a phenomenal. It has flagship capabilities in a compact body. It's got IBIS, it's got the same 40 megapixel sensor, and X processor 5 processor in as the XT5 has. It's got great focus performance. It's got all the Fuji colors. It's got built-in ND filters, and it's got that gorgeous little 23 f2 Mark II lens on the front, leaf shutter. It's a gorgeous camera. And anyone that has one, is lucky to have it. Not lucky, that they will make the most of it, because it's just a fun camera that kind of invokes that joy of photography. You're not fussing around with a camera bag full of primes or zooms. You're not carrying a lot of gear. It's just you, the camera. You can choose to go optical viewfinder. You can choose to go electric viewfinder. And you can pimp X100s up. If you want to get an L bracket with a grip, you can. If you want to get a half leather case or a full leather case, you can. You can make it your own. It's not. I really like that about the X100. I mean, I know you can do that with a lot of other cameras, but the X100 seems to invite that level of personalization. Drop a nice camera strap on it, get a nice little kind of machined hot shoe cover.
Great.
Yeah. I saw someone walking a dog recently with a lucky strap. Anyway, it's a great camera. But I haven't rushed out and bought one purely because of the cost. Mm-hmm. I couldn't justify buying another camera at the moment. So for now,
we're almost getting to that next. Next topic.
Might be different in a few days.
The chat's lit up with X100 talks, and we've got Greg Carrick.
Questions.
That's right. We've got Greg Carrick, who says, "I had an X105, or do we call it a V5? X100V? What do you reckon? Five. And literally swapped it for an XE4. Much better for me." Nev Clark says, "Yeah, I've never been an X100 V5 kind of guy." Whereas Glenn says, 100 series for me, viewfinder or die. Nice. I love it. So you use it optical, Glenn? If you're cruising around, you run the optical viewfinder? I like it.
I found that much better when I was using it than the...
Well, that's a pretty, that's the classic. So that's the original. Yeah. That EVF kind of sucks, which is, it was the style at the time. It's all they could do. Nev Clark says, "I keep my XT5. It's a great camera for a lot of things. It relaunched my photography career, to be honest. I sold a lot of prints from that camera, and it's what inspired me to go into GFX. And I'm not really a 35mm guy either. More 24mm for landscapes, and then kind of like 70mm for other stuff. So you're a 24 to 70 kind of guy."
Nice.
And Glenn says, "Only optical. I love it." That's what's cool about that camera. And I hope they keep that. I know it's probably a pain in the ass for them to make an optical / digital finder. Probably cost way more, but it's very cool inclusion on that and the X Pro series. And I hope they keep
they improved it in the 6. The one in the 5 was a little problematic. It would get every now and then people's the little panel that slips out of the way. Literally the little LCD panel that moves so you can see the optical view, they were getting stuck. There was a mechanism problem, and a lot of people are having to send them in for service, but the 6 seems to have fixed that from what I've heard.
And it's probably stuff like that I'm sure there's push within the company. I'm sure someone's like, we need to get rid of this. It's just extra mechanical movement. It's stuff, we could put a better viewfinder in it if we ditch the optical and all that stuff. But I hope they keep it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. It's like when brands put out cheaper APS-C mirrorless and they put in pop-up flashes. Pop-up flashes always shit me because I just think in 3 years' time that's going to be sticky and it won't work as well.
Yeah.
Anything with moving parts like that.
They don't stick because you just tape them down and never use them.
Yeah, true.
We used to have on our D750s. We used to literally tape them down because there was like a little button on top of the camera that you'd often bump it. So you'd be taking photos, and then it would just pop up. So we literally just like gaffer taped them down.
Just tape them down.
They could never open.
We gaffer taped our eye cup onto the camera because they'd fall off all the time, or then we ended up just rolling no eye cup looking.
I can't believe that good a DSLR had a pop-up flash. Yeah. I guess they were pretty popular on every camera for a while, weren't they?
It was a real. Did the D750 have it? It did, didn't it?
Yeah. Because I think like the D7.
The D750 was a real prosumer camera that had pro quality images. It just had a limited buffer and a couple of other, and it aired out all the time.
Yours, mine didn't seem to.
Yeah, I had some problems with that D750, but though I think we were buying them new for like $2,500 or something. You know, like whatever they were so cheap, and the image quality was great.
It was great.
And they autofocused well. It was really just frames per second and buffer speed that they lagged behind a pro body, but it was workable for a wedding.
Which we'd worked around as well, like with some compressed RAWs and stuff like that. We were able to get it to a usable level. Not great.
Can you believe? So we had to compress our RAWs. So we shot 12-bit lossy compressed RAWs in the D750 because Nikon gave you all that, which was great. They gave you could choose lossless, compressed, lossy compressed, 14-bit or 12-bit. You could select it all independently on your RAW file. So we would shoot 12-bit lossy compressed RAW files, which I don't know if this is going to be right. That
put us up to 21 photo buffer.
It was 21 a 21 photo buffer, which
but the
now
buffer was
sounds
so slow. When you hit it, it would be like it felt like a second for every photo once you hit the buffer.
If you hit the buffer during like the confetti throws, you're like, well, I'm the worst photographer in the world. This is like I now cannot do anything, and I'm just sitting here looking at my cameras
and you're waiting for it to go
click. Yeah, once it buffered out, you could shoot like maybe one frame every 2 seconds or something.
It was so slow. Like that was almost the benefit of having two bodies. You just had to almost throw it away and just go, I'm gonna whatever my other lens is, I'm gonna make this shot work with that. Like for peak. The rest of the day it was fine, but those moments when you had.
Like compared to to say like the
even the 850, like it was
that was a massive jump. But like the Canon, so just that current level of camera, which they are a bit dearer now, but like the R6 Mark II or whatever, which has got a real decent buffer and shoots originally 12 frames a second or whatever. Yeah,
when we originally set them up, they were 11 photo buffer.
Yeah, at
which was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
5.5 frames or whatever.
Well, they were 6.5 frames a second. So it was only shooting at 6.5 frames a second. We were still buffering out. Anyway, we're in the weeds now. The chat's we've lost them.
Yeah. Sorry. Back to the Fuji podcast.
No. We got to finish off this D750. David Dare Parker says D750 nice in the hand as well. Great little camera for its time. It was, and that's why I think if they had have pro'd it up just a little bit, it could have been a really solid.
We just
we just want this camera, but just a little bit more pro. But the D850 then became that, but we didn't necessarily need the res. It was just the body was way better.
Now, but the body was everything else worked better.
This is one of those stories like when you had your dad had to walk to school in the snow or whatever. Glenn says, when I started shooting weddings, we had 120 shots for the whole day. No buffering issues. Fair play. Bruce Moyle says you don't play enough video games. Frames per second teaches you short control bursts. Frames per second. First person shooting. Oh my God, I'm such a photographer and not a video gamer. First person shooters teaches you short control bursts.
Yep. It's also a line of the Aliens movie.
Joining us from Facebook, Sam Christie. Sam, if you come on over to YouTube,
Sam.
The chat is a much bigger party. You probably feel like you're by yourself over there, but it's a party over here at YouTube, so you can join us on go to the Camera Life YouTube channel. But keep watching us on Facebook if that's how you want to roll. Hey, what do you think of the XT5? We're traveling to America and not sure about taking the R5 Mark II all the way from Australia. Oh, okay. Are you thinking thinking about buying the XT5 because you don't want to take your R5 Mark II there? Or do you already have the XT5? No, you wouldn't ask us what we think of it if you've already got it.
Yeah. Or you're looking at picking one up for the trip.
Yeah.
What kind of traveling you're doing too?
Yeah.
Is probably because if you're backpacking or if you're in an RV, like very different.
My Craig Carrick says you'll still get mugged. So I recently did a 3-month trip around America and a little bit of Mexico, and I only took the Leica Q3. Hang on. Oh, my wife wants an XT5. Okay, get an XT5.
Yeah,
settled. I mean, if she wants one, just get one. Like, why wouldn't? That's if your lady wanted a camera, I'd be like, yeah, we're getting that camera.
Get it with the new, what is it? 16 to 50, 16 to 55. No, it's 16 to 50, 2.8 to 4. It's the new kit lens version. Cracker of the lens.
It's a good lens.
Yeah, both are weather. The camera and the lens are weather sealed. Dual SD cards, UHS2s. So it's pretty fast. And it's, with that lens, you're looking at about, I think, around 700 to 800 grams total weight. So it doesn't eat into your carry-on, and it certainly doesn't eat into your day bag that you might, depending on what sort of travel you're doing. It takes up a lot less room than, say, an R5 Mark II would.
Yeah. I would more than happily travel with an R5 Mark II, shoot with it in the States and stuff. I don't think there'd be a massive difference. But if she wants one anyway, then and you've got both. Do it. It will be a lot lighter. The R5 Mark II with a decent lens on it, which I would recommend the 28 to 70 2.8 that I've recently got. But that's a 450 gram lens. The body's like 750 or something like that. So it's still significantly heavier as a walk around everyday thing than that package Greg was suggesting. And then if you can afford it, a nice little approximately 28 millimeter prime lens. I shot 28
or
the whole time.
like a 24 to 70 equivalent.
Isn't that what that kit lens is?
That's what the kit is. It's like a 24 to 70.
Yeah,
it's 16 to 50.
I'm just suggesting as an extra, like a real one of Fuji's tiny little prime lenses, just if you want to, if you just want to rock around it.
The 27 f2.8 pancake. That's a great one too.
Yeah,
there you go.
Awesome. Sounds perfect. Yeah, go shopping.
Yeah. And don't forget, perfect timing. You need to put a strap on that so you can keep it safe.
Oh, that's a good point.
Keep it on your person at all times. I would rock an XT5 either with a deluxe leather wrist strap from luckystraps.com, or I would go not necessarily with the deluxe, but I'd go with something like is it the Simple 40?
Slim 30.
Simple 20, wouldn't you?
Simple 20. I'd probably, something a bit more robust.
XT5, I go the Slim 30. It was actually originally designed for the XT1 or the X Pro. No, it might have been the X Pro 2 or something. X Pro 1, like
XT2.
XT2. James Day, the wedding photographer, who was doing some work with Fuji at the time, I think, and he was very early on the Fuji train in the wedding world. And he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, we need straps for this camera that I'm getting, but your straps are too wide." And so I hand cut with the guys at the factory the ends for these they're terrible. I wish he's probably gotten rid of them. I need to ask him if he's still got them. These like terribly cut ends, and sent him the first Slim 30s. Anyway, now they're an actual thing and we sell them on the site. Perfect for that size camera.
And if you want one, use code JIM for 15% off.
Nev Clark has his mum on his XT5. No, Nev Clark's got one, a Slim 30.
The mum one on my.
Bruce Moyle. Geez, haven't heard James's name in ages. I know. He's been laying low. Got to get him on the podcast.
Hey, just for Sam, if you need to do some research on the XT5, if you go to shotkit.com and you do a search for XT5, my full review is there. And it's a comprehensive review with everything from video to focus performance to sample images and all that sort of stuff. So go check it out there. Yeah, this has been the Fujifilm podcast so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, we haven't even got to the Fujifilm segment yet. We've already been Fujiing them.
But we got 5 minutes of D750 chat in.
Yeah.
Just to break it up.
Should we talk about some Canon stuff very quickly?
Yeah, well, we should, because Paul Henderson says, evening, guys, waiting for Sony or Olympic discussions. I'm sure the love will come. Yeah, that's right. And Canon and all the other ones. Yeah,
it's coming.
The love's coming. And Glenn Lavender says, when I started out, our straps were so big, 2 people could use them at the same time and shoot 2 different weddings. That's right. In the snow.
With no shoes.
Dear. Oh, Nev Clark's got his mum's name on one.
Oh, that's right. He does too.
Sorry,
that's what he's trying to say.
Yes, that's right. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now, whilst not a Canon product, this is a RF mount lens. It's a Laowa have just announced an 8 to 15 mil fisheye zoom, which I think is quite Laowa. Venus Optics and Laowa. Venus Optics is the parent company. Laowa is the brand. They've often made these obscure, either wide angle, macro, tilt shift lenses. I think they made the first tilt shift zoom. They made the first probing lens, with the long kind of snout on it, with the lens on the very end.
Probing lens.
Probing lens, yeah. It literally looked like a probe.
Have you tested that one, Greg?
I did actually. I got to test it with a mate.
What did you
in the park. We did it in public.
We did test it at the park.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we probed some flowers. We probed a bee. Anyway, so Laowa makes some pretty cool, freaky lenses. This is another kind of push in a new direction. It's a zoom fisheye lens, really interesting kind of concept. I mean, obviously it's just an ultra wide lens, but often with Laowa lenses, they're optically corrected for zero distortion. Often they have 0D on them. And that's coming out for Canon RF mount, APS-C, of course.
But it's it could be, because if it's manual, it could the RF mount.
It could too.
So is it?
So it's a manual focus lens.
Yeah, it's full frame. Yeah, it says
it is full frame. My apologies,
yeah.
Sorry guys.
Yeah, so it will go on Canons, but yeah, Canon has the issue with their autofocus tech on the RF mount. They're happy for people to. Well, I don't think they get a choice, I guess, for people to slap stuff on the RF mount.
Yeah.
So at 8 millimeter end out to other people, is that what or are they just wanting to sell their own lenses?
I think they just want to sell their own lenses while they're developing their roadmap and their RF ecosystem, and then they'll probably open it up. But we don't know. Like, that's speculation.
Yeah, so it's not about, like, I guess their tech could be stolen and by, say, other.
No, not stolen. Thing. It's a control thing. But that being said, like, I know
it's corporate gatekeeping.
Well, it is, but like Sony do it. Is it Sony? They allow Sigma and Tamron and stuff to make lenses for their mount, but they're crippled to 15 frames a second. They can't shoot their higher frame rates.
They do a back end.
But I don't know if it could be an issue with the way the autofocus works. Maybe I'm not sure. I actually have no idea. But there's Canon just have said no altogether, whereas the other companies do allow it, but it can have some limitations. So, yeah, they all want you. Obviously, all the companies want you to buy their lenses, preferably.
Yeah,
because then they make more money. Bruce Moyle says, Laowa make awesome kit. The probe lenses are great, but they didn't invent them, Greg.
Oh, wow.
I invented them. No, someone invented them. Anyway, of course, Bruce knows all about probe lenses.
Should have known better to try and pull a fast one on Bruce. That's it for the news.
Is it? Oh, actually, we can probably. I had a couple of things. I don't know how important they are.
We got to get through. We got to get to Does Size Matter?
50-foot went, Jim.
Well,
it's like you don't even know these shows. You don't know how these shows work.
Got to try and keep you on task.
We never get to that. All right, let me quickly flick through a couple of weird ones that I found. The news. The Caillou camera trying to reimagine memory capture.
Yeah.
So this is similar to our film cameras that we've been seeing, but instead the opposite in that it doesn't have a film advanced lever or anything. It's got next to nothing.
What does it have?
So it's got one button, I'm pretty sure. Basically, launched in Japan late 2024, wants to challenge our relationship with digital memories through an intriguingly restrictive design philosophy. They want to transform how we preserve our most precious moments. Its debut product, the Caillou camera, is an elegant orb-shaped device designed by an ex-Canon employee, we didn't want you anyway, and supported by designers and engineers from almost every other camera company that also got fired. That strips away the complexity of modern cameras to focus on one simple goal, capturing meaningful memories. This is what it looks like. It's like an egg. Like an
is it wearable?
Egg.
Where does it go? Oh, is it a probe?
It goes in your. It's not a probe. It goes in your pocket. I think it's not like a lanyard thing, but it maybe. Basically, here we go. As smartphones have made. Oh, come back. Okay, I'll read it somewhere else. Okay, it's got a 13 megapixel primary sensor on the back and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. It's got a 1.5 inch circular LED touchscreen, a small microphone. Read terrible microphone, and a single button that comprise the entire front interface. That's it. The simplicity is intentional. They just want you to capture the moment. The biggest limitation is that users can only record up to 9 seconds per video clip with a daily limit of 27 videos. This isn't a bug. It's a feature. The number 9, or Q in Japanese, is central to the company's philosophy, representing the sweet spot between capturing a moment's essence and maintaining manageable content. This is a petapixel article if anyone wants to get more detail. Cameras record at 1080, 30 frames a second in a square ratio. While it might not compete with the latest smartphone cameras, it's as good as it needs to be. Okay.
That's an interesting statement.
The camera doesn't take photos.
I wonder how much they were paid to put up this article.
Questioning. And look, I'm not the company. I go for it. The article's a little weird, but go for it. If you want to make a weird
so
camera,
only does video. It's a video.
So it doesn't take photos. It only captures video. Everything is managed on the camera from a single button, record. And then basically there's a removable 32 gig memory unit from the bottom of the camera. You take it out, you plug it into your smartphone. Look at the weird round lens thing, like viewfinder thing. And then you plug it into your smartphone via USB-C, and then you use the app to organize your footage. I don't know. It's aesthetically pleasing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, we got to the review part, and then they basically said, look, it's not as good as a smartphone, and a smartphone's pretty much as easy, like as usable. Anyway.
And you don't have to have a second product to do the same thing that your phone does.
That's right. But I guess some people want to detach and not take their phone everywhere. I kind of like the idea. It could all be done with an app though, but I do kind of like the idea of a simple way to kind of basically, say if you were going on a holiday, if you had a specific app that if you open it and record a video clip, at the end of the holiday, you just get that however many minute video is just ready for you. You know what I mean? Just without having to do anything. Like say if there's an app, it's called the holiday camera, and you can take photos or videos, and at the end of the holiday, in simple chronological order, your video is done, basically. Yeah. You don't have to do anything. You just say, give me my video. That holiday's over. You know what it reminds me of? This camera? What's that?
It reminds me of when Nokia brought out those weird shaped mobile phones back in the day. The N gauge, and people were bringing out these sort of organic shaped not smartphones, they were dumb phones. They were old school analog phones. Ran off the analog networks, but they were weird shapes, and they were trying to kind of capture something different to what everyone else was making. Everyone else was making these sort of, relatively rectangle or flip style phones, and then people started making weird shapes. It feels a bit like that. But I don't know.
Interesting. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. The other thing isn't really news, but I'd only just found out about it, and I thought I want to show you guys because I just found it really interesting, and it does use a lot of cameras, and it is this. Have you guys heard of Google Beam? So Google are testing their own glasses and stuff now, like those Meta glasses, but they got their own ones. Everyone's working on the glasses, and it's coming. Trust me. Phones are going to be a thing of the past, people. You heard it here first. They're going by the way of the pocket watch.
Talking to Lucinda a couple of weeks ago, I'm starting to agree.
But
I'd never thought of the capability and the usability of the wearable,
the glasses,
device glasses. Yeah, the Ray-Bans.
I did a whole segment saying vertical's dead. It's going. It's going to be gone before we know it.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about like that. We've often talked about how Meta goggles and the Apple Vision Pro and all of those things are going to. Yeah, but I can see that the Ray-Bans with the camera in it that Lucinda was talking about, and how she uses that to record her B-roll stuff, her behind-the-scenes stuff while she's shooting a gig. I think that's phenomenal. Really clever.
Yeah, and Google. Yeah, so Google have a set of those they're testing. Meta have a super advanced set that they've been letting people test and stuff. And I saw someone test this, and I don't know if they're going to show it. There's no real way to see it, but basically, there's no good video of it. Essentially,
I wish you'd just tell us what it is.
It's imagine a window, or like a TV, a whiteboard, whatever. It's a TV screen essentially in your office, called Google Beam, right? Both people have to have one for it to work. And it's got cameras and also speakers, kind of an array around it. And these cameras are scanning you the whole time, and cameras on the other end are scanning them the whole time in real time. But then it like builds an AI model of you that looks exactly like you, and it projects it in 3 dimensions, so it feels like you're sitting across from the person in a meeting.
Could you imagine the bandwidth you'd need for that level of data for a video call?
Yep, it'd be pretty intense.
So back in the 90s, Telstra trialed the very first video phone. This was before smartphones. I think even cell phones were pretty new. And Telstra worked with someone, I can't remember who it was. It was someone like Ericsson or someone like that. And they developed the first video phone in Australia. And it had a small screen on the base station, and then you'd pick up the phone and you'd make your normal call, or you could do a video call. But everyone else had to have one for it to work.
They're
quite expensive. So no one could afford to buy a video phone in case, rich Uncle George called from his video phone.
Who also had a laser disc player.
Yeah. The big laser disc player.
Yeah. All right. So this that won't show it. Kind of shows it, but nothing really shows it well. But essentially, imagine this. But it's 3D. Like when they reach their hands out, it feels like the hands are coming closer to you. They apparently, and the audio sounds like if they move from one side to the other side, the audio is coming from different parts of the speakers and stuff like that. And apparently everyone that sits in front of it is blown away with it. I just thought it was very interesting. It's going to be one of those things that only gets used by CEOs, for a long time, because I'm sure it's insanely expensive. But I just thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's a new breakthrough in that kind of pathway that we're heading down. But it kind of reminds me, didn't Zuckerberg do a thing a couple of years ago with these kind of, I think it was to do with Meta, and it was kind of like you can go into this Meta world and you'll have an avatar that is an AI generated form of you, and
they talked about that.
One. Yeah.
No. So they specifically addressed that, and they said people don't have time to pick out what they're going to wear in their online meetings, online universe. And he was like, if you've got a scratch on your face from one of your kids scratching at you or something, that's not something that we want to disappear. Like he said, this is a representation of exactly what you're wearing, how you did your hair that day. It's just you. and that's the difference between this and those kind of simulated representations in the metaverse or whatever. And I think for collaborative remote working, and also maybe eventually if the tech trickles down enough, just general, communication and keeping up with family and stuff like that, maybe, but it'll be a long time before this kind of tech goes down to that. But, they were kind of working on it. You could pull up a computer screen that you could both look at, and it felt like you were kind of sitting on the desk, when you sit next to someone on a desk and you show someone something on the computer. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It's an interesting approach. It's interesting they didn't start. Oh, you guys still there? I've lost my audio.
Yeah.
We're here.
You? We can hear you.
Something went wrong.
You're still good. We'll give you.
Okay. But they didn't sort of say, well, let's just come out with the screen for people just to view first. So let's say news presenters, CEOs giving keynotes, that sort of stuff. And, and people in the office or at home can just watch it on a regular screen. And then down the track, other people can get the screens in their home with the cameras. You know what I mean? Like it kind of feels prohibitive that for it to work, you need two people to have the screens.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But I guess
I lost my audio.
I guess it couldn't work unless you had the screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any special tech in the screen. The guy did say it's essentially just a TV screen, but I don't know how that works.
You still there?
But didn't you say it's still like it feels, you can see, like you can feel them almost like reaching out type thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So it must have some kind of.
No idea.
Or is it just the cameras that make it kind of 3D?
They said it was more the cameras, but I don't know. I'll do some more research. We'll circle back to it.
Cool.
Anyway, back to photography. We've bored everyone enough with Google stuff. Couple of comments. Glenn Lavender says, when I started out, I invented the probe lens with no shoes on in the snow whilst walking uphill in the wind. Bruce Moyle says, there's a 1 second app for people that use for a similar effect. Still a phone thing though. Yeah, and that's the thing. But if it was like the 1 second app, but longer clips maybe, but also simple. I'm sure there's an app for it already. That 1 second app is cool. I don't know.
It's not like a long time.
No, it looks cool though when you do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And you stitch them all together.
We should do it.
We should do it for the intro for the show.
We need to make an intro. Can someone make us an intro?
Yeah. Only we knew a video, someone who could edit videos.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Henderson has nailed it. This is really retro, like really, really, really retro, like a rock from the Dark Ages. Yeah. That's how retro it is. That's how far back
I feel like that's
the
what
design language.
It would end up being just a paperweight.
Yeah, when the app stops being, because that's the problem with some of these new companies and these new tech, and all of a sudden a few years later they just disband, they stop updating the app. You get your new phone, the old app won't load on the new iOS or whatever, and then now all of a sudden your Pebble phone camera doesn't work anymore, and it is just a rock.
It looks
Logan,
like a pet rock.
Logan from Iowa. I've been shooting weddings commercial in real estate. Well, that's quite a niche.
I think he means weddings, commercial, and real estate.
Roger. I thought that was a narrow niche, weddings in commercial real estate. For the past 7 years. But in regards to weddings, I really want to shoot a destination wedding outside of the US. Recommendations?
First thing, just put it out to people.
Yes.
Just like you have to ask. Sounds silly, but ask the universe. Put it out. Put a post up.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know. Put your intention.
I don't know when your quiet time. I guess opposite to ours. So I'm assuming like January. Would that be quiet for
winter
weddings in the US? So maybe you'll, obviously depending where you want to go, but if you want to do it during a quiet time, if anyone's got a wedding in January or February or something, I want to do a destination wedding. I would be aiming to do the first one for almost no money. If it's just something you want to do and tick off your list to then try and because you can build it into a little bit of a business, depending on family situations and stuff. obviously it gets hard when being a destination wedding photographer sounds awesome, but when you travel all the time,
full time,
like it gets expensive, and then you've got to be making really, really good money to make it make sense. Yeah. Otherwise, do it for some, a few weddings a year if you can make it work.
Jim's spot on. You got to put it out into the world. I don't know how many times Jim's probably heard me say it, not just for weddings but for all sorts of stuff. How many times I've probably said it on the podcast to Matt Crummins. I can't even remember. People will say like, I'm going to do this thing, I'm doing this thing, and I'm like, I'll come with you and shoot it for free if you want.
Yeah.
And they often are like, oh, I think he's kidding, and I'm like, I'm not kidding. No. I will do that. Like, you want to do that? You're going to get married in New Zealand, and do heli skiing on a mountaintop. Yeah. I will absolutely do that for free. So you've just got to keep putting that stuff out there. Obviously, you don't want to say for free if you're not willing to do it.
Yeah.
You might need to cover travel costs, or whatever. Or if you want to try and do it for money, go for it as well. But it's going to be harder. It's going to be a harder sell because there'll be someone local that could do it. So you've got to think, what are they getting out of this to pay to bring me there, other than your epic photos?
I think my first one, or only one, they paid for my flights and accommodation, and I think I got like $1,000 or $1,500. Like, it wasn't a huge, and I was there like for multiple days. We shot. Like set up.
You did great work for them.
And and then they also did like 3 days after the shoot, we went out and shot in the sand dunes on this beach. Like, it was epic. But so they got, I guess, pretty good value for money. But it was awesome fun. Like, I had a great time. So
can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Logan, what the boys said is, I've never been a wedding photographer. I've done weddings, but I'm not a professional wedding photographer. So what the lads have said is absolutely accurate. The other thing I would recommend is to jump onto our podcast channel on YouTube and have a look for the Jesse Hisco episode. Jesse is more of an adventure wedding photographer, but he travels the world shooting weddings, big and small, for a range of different clients. And he, in the interview, we talked to him for well over 2 hours. He talks at length about his journey into that space, into doing traveling for being a destination wedding photographer, not just at home here in Australia, but he spent a lot of time in Canada. He's shot weddings in, was it KL, Kuala Lumpur? He was talking about that big family wedding.
Yeah, where was that?
It was Malaysia or something. Anyway, I can't remember. Go back and watch that episode.
It's episode 76 with Jesse Hisco.
But Jesse also talked about hitting up a well-known destination wedding photographer and asking to be a second shooter just so you can learn the ropes. But yeah, go back and check out that episode. I'm not doing it justice, but it was a fascinating chat about how he morphed into that side of things. So yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah, very cool episode and good advice. He's done it. He does it. He's got a whole different offering around elopements. Taking people on adventures who want to elope and not necessarily have a traditional wedding, have a smaller wedding, but take them on an adventure. And his role in that for them is much more than that of a photographer. It morphs into planner, host, just all-round chef, all-round nice guy. So there's lots of things that you can do to broaden your horizons when it comes to that stuff. Great advice from Greg Carrick, that Aussie photographer. He says just go to Canada. It's not that far away.
Just go there and find a wedding and shoot it.
And shoot it. Don't even ask permission.
No, just over the other photographer's shoulder.
Bring a 600mm f4 and blast away.
From the car park.
Is it time? Is that all I had?
It's time.
Yeah, Google Beam. Yeah, okay.
We're only
it's time for
40 minutes behind schedule. It's fine.
We have a schedule?
Oh, yeah. Where's the schedule?
If we want to get through this, we probably have a schedule.
Jim didn't send me the schedule.
Wow.
Maybe I'll start putting time limits on.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you over my sound effects.
I said I'm going to put time limits on the sections.
Oh, really? Like a stop clock? Like a
Yeah.
Gosh,
Maybe.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Get a 2-minute warning bell and then it's done.
Yeah. I don't think that the chat's gone quiet. I don't think they'd like it.
All right, let's talk about what's happening with Fujifilm next.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about them much.
No,
what is happening, Greg?
Like you said earlier, they've been quite busy. They've been very much in our faces on social media. They're putting out
pumping
a lot
out
of
cameras.
content, trying to attract different demographics of photographers, cashed up point and shoot photographers, and kids looking to spend 1,300 Australian dollars on a point and shoot that takes muddy images. So they have been busy, and to their credit, they are breaking new ground constantly. As you said, the GFX 100 RF was, it's a larger format, medium format point and shoot fixed lens camera.
It's the most
the
powerful point and shoot ever made,
quite possibly. The X Harp or the Half X at the other end of the spectrum is quite a simple camera, but it delivers, it promises to deliver a unique photography experience that draws on film photography days and Fujifilm's heritage in film photography. So next week, they've got yet another Fuji X Summit coming up. It's in Shanghai. It's on the 12th of June. And you'll have to check your local times with their socials to find out when it's on if you want to watch it. But originally, the rumor sites were frothing at the mouth over 2 new cameras being launched, but they've downgraded their predictions to 1 new camera and 1 new lens. And the rumor is that it's a new XE body, and it's going to be the XE5, which is a camera I've been holding out for quite some time. I know that Greg Carrick shoots with an XE4. Shane Henderson, Wookie, in our chat, he shoots with an XE4. I know a lot of photographers who love the little rangefinder style compact Fuji, and I'm certainly one of them. And I am also frothing over the potential for a new camera in Greggy's stable.
What's your expensive month for you, Greg?
Yeah,
and a Switch and a new camera.
Oh, and we're renovating. It's all happening.
What's your froth level at, Greg? What would you rank it out of, like, say, from 0 to
a little dribble to
0 to GFX? Like, what's your froth level at?
If we go from, like, if 0 is like I'm just sort of dribbling at the corners, like when you wake up from a sleep and you get that, oh wow, and you like that. That's 0 froth level, right up to kind of a rabid dog kind of froth level at a 10. The beard hides it, but I'm at about a 7. Okay. Greg Carrick says he's at a cappuccino.
Yeah, that's a lot of froth.
That is a lot of froth.
We've got Ernesto Creativo.
Hey, Ernesto.
Creativo. Good to see you. I guess the 12th will be a hard time for my XE2. Yes. Yeah. Could be a tough day for those older cameras. Just straight in the bin.
Yeah. No, don't get rid of them.
Don't get rid of them.
Don't you dare.
Wookie also says my XE2, my first Fuji camera. All 16 megapixels of it.
Yeah.
So, and still great pics.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're buying one, Greg.
Well, that's the plan, Jim. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Are you gonna get one to test, do you think?
Well, I have asked for it, and often we get to this point, or just the day after launch, and I go, "Oh, surprise! I had one the whole time." I don't have one at the moment.
No,
not that I would tell you if I did, but
because it would still be.
We would know that. We would know you had something. You always let slip that you got something.
Well, the froth level goes up.
That's right.
And it's hard to get froth out of this beer. Just ask Greg Carrick with his cappuccino. It goes everywhere. Yeah. Anyway, Justin, could you bring up some of those links that I shared in the running sheet so that we can zoom in on some stuff if you don't mind?
Yeah, but is it I've got the linked.
Let's go with the first one with the images.
Hang on, is it this one? Let me just present it because I haven't got the. Is it this one? Boom.
I don't know. I can't see it. Yes. Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah. Can you get rid of the pop-up
ads? No, we cannot. Horrible. Can we get rid of the fujirumours.com text and also the FR drawn over bit just to make sure no one steals our stolen photo?
Even though they're stealing it.
They've stolen it, and then they've put their watermark on it because we found it. Sorry, Fuji Rumours. I don't got no problem with you guys. I like reading your stuff.
So if this is actually true, then this is the new Fujifilm XE5. It looks near identical to the XE4.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and
especially if it's a doctored image, it makes sense that it would look identical to the current model.
Obviously available in black, all black, and the silver and black, which is they've always done that.
Yeah.
But the lens on that,
guess, then.
It is a thanks, Jim. It's
not you. I mean the people that doctored these images.
Oh yeah, yep. Now the second half of this rumor is that there's a brand new 23mm lens. So Fujifilm have a 23 f2 compact. They have a 23 1.4 prime. I think there's another one. The X100 series has a 23mm lens. This will be yet another 23 f2.8 pancake lens, available in black and silver. It's an interesting combination that they put together because when they released the XE4, they also released that with a new version of the Fujifilm 27mm f2.8 pancake lens. The original version didn't have an aperture ring and it wasn't weather sealed. And so when they released the XE4, they released the updated version of the 27 with an aperture ring, manual aperture ring, and it was weather sealed, which is also odd because the XE4 wasn't weather sealed. So, you could get the lens wet, but just not the camera. So here we are again. They're putting out a new XE, and once again, they're putting out a new lens, and they're remaking an existing focal length. But I kind of love it because 23 is my jam. So 23 on a Fuji is a 35 full frame.
Does Fuji make a 28 equivalent lens? What would that be like?
28 equivalent.
Equivalent. So what would that be like what is that, 19? 19 or 20?
There's an 18.
There's an 18. That'd have to be close to it, yeah. Or is that the 24?
No, an 18 makes it 27.
18. 27, yeah, you're right. Okay, so it's the 18. Yeah.
Now, there is a list of specs. These are, again, they're saying that these are leaked. That these specs are, official, that they're from Weibo or somewhere. I can't remember the name of it, leaked specs. So according to Weibo, the specifications is that this has a 40 megapixel X-Trans 5 CMOS APS-C size sensor.
Which is essentially that's the modern. You're expecting that to be the same sensor we see in the XT5, the XM, X100, X100 VI thing, whatever it is. It's the modern X series top end sensor.
Yes, yeah, it is.
And you don't think that, you don't have any reason to believe that they would change it or introduce a new one or something.
It doesn't make sense for them to be, from a cost perspective. I think Fujifilm are moving into a space where they'll have their 40 megapixel X series range and their 102 megapixel GFX series range.
And keep it simple with sensors. Keep it simple. And not
I don't think we'll see another 50 megapixel medium format camera. It makes no sense for them to make two different sensors.
Hold the phone. Is this the Jason Morris in our chat? What's up, Jason? Love the YouTube channel. We watch it all the time. Also, early user of the Lucky Straps, made a cool video. Thank you very much. What's the main difference between the XE4 series and the XM5 series? This is a good question, straight for Greg.
It is a good question. So the XM5 in the old days was an entry-level camera. Well, it wasn't an XM5 back then. It was an XM. I think they made a 1 and a 2, and then they jumped to the 5 from memory. Anyway, so the XM5, it doesn't have an EVF. There's no EVF. There's purely a screen. It's compact. It's got all your Fuji command dials. It's got, I think the XM5 has I might be wrong, but I think it has a 26 megapixel sensor. They've all got the same processor now, the X Processor 5, because it's great. They even put it in the half X camera. And again, it just made, I guess from a cost perspective, why develop a whole new sensor when you've already got a shitload of them on the shelf? So the XM5 doesn't have a EVF. You shoot purely off the screen. Unfortunately, the screen isn't great in low light, and it's one of those fold out, twist up kind of rotating screens, so you can do vlogging. It's very video. centric. The XM5 is great for content creators. You can attach Fujifilm's cooling fan to it for longer recording. I think it shoots 6.2K.
Cooling fan.
All that sort of stuff. So whereas the XE series is more of a rangefinder style, it doesn't have the same pass-through EVF, hybrid EVF, OVF as the X100 or the X Pro series. It's purely a digital viewfinder, but nonetheless it has an EVF.
Would you say it's a mini X Pro? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like it's
which is why we called this section of the podcast Fuji Deception, because at first some of the teasers that Fujifilm put out, these teasers that show kind of like an outline of the camera, and when I first saw it I could have sworn it was an X Pro. Turns out it's more than likely not. I was wrong.
Is there any chance they wouldn't release those two cameras at once, would they? They're so different. Sorry, they're so similar that they would not want to confuse the market and sort of release
it would divide the market too much. People would go and drop money on an XE because it should be cheaper than an X Pro. And then if they release the X Pro within a week or two, then that would just throttle one or the other. What else has it got? It's apparently can shoot 6.2 30p. It's got great focus, 20 FPS in electric, 15 in mechanical. It's apparently will have the Fujifilm film simulation dial that they put on the XM5 and the XT50. So yeah, the EVF looks like it's got some decent resolution, 3.69 dot, 1.84 million dot on the flip screen. Side tilt flip screen. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway,
good question from Ernesto Creativo, who actually is from Germany, Augsburg, Germany. Greetings. Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
People from all over the world today. Hang on, where is it? Picture I saw, it looks like an LED flash, and Greg Carrick agrees. Yes, I think you're right, LED. Do you reckon it's LED flash, Greg?
I hope not.
You hope not, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can always turn it off.
Do they work? Like, are they
like a phone, yeah. Like a powerful phone.
Yeah, but they're terrible though on a phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the kids are calling for it, Jim. The kids want a flash because they like that retro look with the heavy shadow in the background and the film
doesn't
stimulations. No, it's not great.
No, it's going to give you a little bit of fill light, but yeah, you're relying on the shutter to still freeze your action. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to know whether it is the flash or whether it's the light meter, like the sensor. It's quite small. Anyway, we will know in a few days. So the 12th.
Greg Carrick says the earlier article says it's a focusing light.
Oh, like a focus assist lamp.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll pull it back up because we're looking at let me bring this up.
Big colour, wouldn't it?
What, like the beams that we have on our DSLRs. And also in the chat, we've got Robert Varner from New Jersey, in the US. Good to see you. Who else is from all over the place? Tell us in the chat. Where are you from? Where are you listening?
Yeah, let us know.
It's good to have you all worldwide. Camera life.
The other thing to keep in mind is that we don't know whether this photo is accurate. We don't know whether it's been doctored with AI. We don't know what's going on.
Someone's doctored it with paint.
Yeah, someone's done
Fuji rumors. You can be fairly sure it's not going to have FR drawn on the official model that comes out from Fuji. Maybe they'll do a Fuji rumors limited edition that actually has that painted on it.
That would be very funny.
It would be funny if Fuji took the piss and actually did that. Yeah, like, this is our limited edition.
Yeah. So they're also bringing out the 23mm f2.8R. So it's got an aperture ring. It's weather sealed. Pancake lens.
Safe to say it'll be pretty tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be little.
The lens or the camera?
The lens. Well, the camera will be pretty tiny, won't it? They're a small series. Do you expect it'll be essentially the same size exactly as what you've got now? But
I think that there might be a couple of millimeters. That often happens. I know that with the increments in the XT series, They've kept the same form factor, roughly the same size in terms of dimensions. They've fattened out the grip slowly over time on the XTs. The XE series has gone a number of, each generation's kind of a little bit different. I think the XE originally, they had all these weird colors you could order too. A bit like those Lumix colors. Might have that wrong. Greg Carrick, if you're still listening, do you remember that? Was it the XE, one of the XE models that had, you could order special colored versions with the wrap on the body? But yeah, it's pretty much, from the images, it looks like it's pretty much the same as the XE4.
Maybe IBIS will increase the size a bit.
Yeah, it might do.
Says.
It might do. Although they got the IBIS in the X100.
X100 couldn't quite squeeze it into that GFX 100 RF though, could they?
No, they couldn't, could they?
They couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it.
No.
I heard it didn't need it.
Nah,
but the X100 needed it.
Yeah, well,
does 100 make a
confusing
camera not need it?
Different strokes for different folks.
Wouldn't it need it more?
Yes,
you could see more of the.
It would, because you can see those pixels getting moved around. I'd say shake it. Anyway, we digress. Yeah. I just think it was going to be way too hard for him to fit it into that compact package, and they wanted it to be compact. And I think that's
it's also the GFX 100 RF is. I mean, neither is the X100. I don't know why they put IBIS in that, but I guess because they could.
I wonder. Do you reckon
for the price? I don't think it's not a pro grade camera. I don't think they're overly worried about people getting ultra sharp images like a pro would. You know, if you're putting out a flagship GFX for pros to use, then yes, you want to have IBIS. But this wasn't being sold as a pro grade camera. This was for cashed up enthusiasts.
Yeah, but why buy a 100 megapixel camera if you don't want tack sharp images? I think that's just silly. You might as well have a nice 24 megapixel camera is going to do just fine if you're not worried about it being like if you're more about the feel than
but maybe it's so that when you're at the pub you can say I've got a 100 megapixel camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait till our 100 megapixel t-shirt comes out.
And it also means that Fujifilm could do it at that price. Let's face it.
Yeah.
You know, they would have priced themselves out of potential sales if they went much higher with it.
Yeah, possibly, and save something for the Mark II version.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. It'll have IBIS.
Yeah, it will.
You just wait 4 years. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, IBIS, if this is correct, and they put IBIS in this new XE5, it will jack the price up quite a bit.
What are you expecting the price? Obviously, we're here in Australia. If you couldn't tell by our funny voices.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. So currently, do you know what an XE4 is currently worth? Can you even buy them anymore? Are they still a thing?
No, you can't buy them from shops anymore, but you can buy them secondhand. They hold their value pretty well. But
don't worry. Let's not worry about secondhand. But
when I think about, let's put the X half away because that's just weird the way that's been priced. If we think about say
half X,
a half X. Sorry, if you think
$2
about
grand on eBay, Justin.
The XM5, I think it'll sit between the XM5 and the XT5. So I think it'll be around $2,800, maybe 3,000 Australian dollars, folks.
Which is probably more than what you can get an XT5 for currently. Like as in on street price. Let me have a look. And we're talking Australian dollars.
XT5.
Street price.
I got it. Yeah, street price. There, so I can get one for 2,700.
I reckon it'll be about
20.
I reckon it'll be around 2,800.
Bought the XE4 for 1,800-ish AUD before it was discontinued. That's a good deal. You could probably, if you sell that on eBay before the 12th, you might be able to get out of it for that money and then get into your XE5. But if you wait till the XE5 comes out, that thing's going to halve in value on eBay.
Yeah. So you're going to sell it in 3 days.
Yeah, get on it. Sell it now,
get on it.
Blue.
No pressure.
Sell it now, Blue. Also, good to see you, Blue. Where are you from? Robert Varner just gave us 2 kangaroo emojis, which I think is one of the best chats we've had tonight. Thanks, Robert.
He also gave us a camera emoji earlier too.
Yeah, he did. Because that camera emoji looks like an XE5.
Yeah.
It does.
Actually, maybe that's the rumor photo.
They've designed it after an emoji.
They just got AI to extrapolate it.
Greg Carrick wants a film winder lever. Do you think they should include a film winder lever on the XC5?
He's been saying that on social media all week on everything.
Is he a bit of a shit stirrer?
You up.
He's going to wind me up.
Oh my god, that was terrible.
That's really bad.
Such a bad joke.
No,
Look,
don't
he's
go off
chuffed too.
half-cocked.
He's very chuffed with it.
Yeah, that was funny. That was very funny.
Anyway, new camera next week. I'm excited. I'm frothy. And yes, if it is what they say it is, I will get it.
You will get it.
Because, well, it's been almost 5 years since I've upgraded my camera. I need something a little bit more oomph. I was talking to you the other day when I went to the, I don't know, has anyone ever felt this in the chat? Anyone, or you guys, obviously, where you start to feel like your gear is underpowered for the job you're being asked to do?
Never.
You just don't.
Yeah, no,
No, that's not true. Legitimately, like the D750 felt underpowered towards the end of its reign. Most of the time, like other than that, no. Every other camera I've owned has been epic.
Not since the day.
Fuck you, Castles. Fuck you.
No, well,
Jim, has it ever happened to you? No, you've had your turn. All right, anyone in the chat?
So I started my photography career, Greg, with a D700 and then moved to a D3 and was with press bodies for the first 5 years.
Well,
and then I had
my
to buy
good
my
mate
own stuff.
Brendan Waits, who has a podcast. Are you hiring?
He's moving podcasts.
Said, Greg, I have felt that maybe someone will actually pay me properly for this job, and then I can actually, afford a proper camera. Anyway, Greg, I have felt that 100%.
Yeah.
Blue says, just a casual photographer, but I've defs felt like my zoom range has not been enough to capture some stuff. My Instax lets me down sometimes.
No, Greg, that's not an Instax. That's an X-half. Enjoy
Is that
it.
the new one with the winder? Because one of the Instaxes has a film winder too.
See, Robert Varnett says, I still use my 8-year-old Nikon D500. Now, the D500, we've actually still got one of those too, don't we, Jim? We don't use it much. But
we've never used it much.
No, but it is a great camera, and it's a robust camera, and that is a camera you could keep using for 8 years because it was dependable. It was just we just don't shoot crop sensors, and it's crop, so it's got a bit more noise and stuff than we're used to. But other than that, that is a camera that you can hang on to for a long time. Come over, Greg. The Down South Photo Show welcomes you. No, don't steal our Greg. Our show will fall apart. We won't have any guests.
Anyway, so like I said, I am frothy and I'm excited because when I got the... I
don't know who this is pointed at, but I'm thinking it might be you, Greg.
Bruce, if you shoot potatoes, of course it will feel underpowered. That's amazing.
Thanks, Bruce.
Anyway, that's what I'm starting to feel. Like I just don't have enough.
Oh, that's great.
Let's go to Micro Greg.
Let's go to hang on. Let's catch up on a cover. So Ernesto Creativo is still using XT3 and XT4 for weddings. Hey, they're still pretty capable cameras.
Yeah,
they've still got good sensors and stuff doing their thing. And Bruce says, seriously though, my current workhorse is really starting to feel its age. Is that the that's the A7R3 that you're using? Which is still a nice camera. I assume that's what you mean. You got a lot of workhorses, Bruce. You do a lot of work.
Indeed.
Okay. To micro, Greg?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Make sure I'm not going to hit the goat scream.
That one.
I couldn't help it. Micro Greg. Greg, do you have a micro 4/3 camera in your possession now?
I do. I've got it right here. I've got an OM3.
Oh yeah.
What did I call it? OM3.
OM3. What are your first impressions?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Because you're a Fuji man, I've heard. I don't know if anyone else has noticed on the show, but Greg really likes Fuji's.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel embarrassed because it is what I love, and it is all I talk about. However, having said that, Justin sent me the OM3 that we're currently in the process of reviewing from OM Systems Australia. So thank you to the team there for sending that through to us to have a play with and to create our first camera life review. I'm actually quite impressed, to be honest. So yes, I'm a Fuji shooter. I love that retro styling, especially of the XT series and the X Pro rangefinders, and then by association, the XE5s and the X100s and things like that. This feels comfortable to me from a styling perspective. I like the style. I like that they've thrown back to some of the retro inspirations from Olympus film cameras and earlier versions of the OM, especially. It's built really well. Like, it's solid. The lenses, not so much. Like, the lenses are quite, I mean, they're good. They've got a metal mount. They've got metal components, but they don't feel as robust. But the camera feels like you could hammer in nails with it. Like, it's got a metal base. It's got it feels like a metal top plate. It's got the big fake mirror, like prism box up the top. It's got all of the nice little customizable dials.
This is appropriate for this segment.
It is.
Brendan Waits from Camera and Photo. I once shot an AFL game with an Olympus EM5 and was asked by the AFL media manager if I had a real camera.
Wow.
What did you say? Just say, come at me.
What else? So what do I love? I love the mansplaining. I love the manual dials. And it's a really nice mix. One thing I do find kind of odd, and I haven't shot with any other Olympus or OM system cameras, is that all the dials are different sizes and shapes, and they all have different finishes and different looks to them. It just felt a little bit muddy or a little bit disorganized almost, whereas in the Fuji ones, there's slightly bigger dials and they're just sort of in a row. But I do love the manual command dials. They're machined really well. The engineering quality is top notch. It does have a flip out screen, which I hate.
Yep.
I'd rather have a flip up screen. It is very,
a twisty?
It's a twisty.
It's a twisty.
Standard twisty. It's got lots of ports. It's got an independent headphone and microphone 3.5mm port.
Just quickly, Greg.
Yeah.
Our new friend Ernesto has to go have lunch with the family, but has asked, is it always Monday? Yes.
Yes, we always have a Monday.
Well, always Monday our time, Australian time, which would be, hang on, where are you again? I don't know. Whatever time it is now, it's always this time.
We start at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, I was going to say we also have a second.
No, you go, Jim.
On Thursday.
You talk next.
Okay.
Okay, on three.
2.
No,
3,
you go.
2. No, go on. No, you go, Jim.
Okay.
We have a Thursday show. I think Jim was trying to say also. It's at 9 a.m. Thursday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 GMT plus 10. I don't know. Plus 10. Plus 11? I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
You'll find us. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see them scheduled and it'll tell you what the time is and when they're going to be. And you'll find us. If you hit the notification bell, it'll actually tell you when we go live, which is even better. Maybe this is a good time to do the thing where we say, hey, if you haven't subscribed, do that. Subscribe.
Yep.
Give this video a little like while you're watching it. That really helps, is what I've been told. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Ernesto. Have fun with the family, and we'll see you on Monday or Thursday. Sorry, Greg. Back to Micro Greg.
It is clearly my segment because I haven't had anything to say this podcast.
This is all about
from an ergonomic perspective, it is heavy for its size, which is great. It could do with a bit of a front bump.
I was going to say, do you reckon it needs a grip? Yeah,
it needs a grip, or they need to move this color. So there's this art color mode dial thing here.
Yep,
I agree.
No, you can't bump it, but it rubs your fingers.
Yeah, it's really stiff. It's got really nice resistance.
Yeah,
but
good,
and you can hear it.
Oh,
but it's also sharp. And
yeah, the knurling is really rough,
knurling,
which makes
there's a word, knurling.
It makes it good. That's when you scratch stuff into metal, kind of. Yeah, so the knurling is really grippy, which is good because it's actually kind of hard to turn that dial sometimes. But it rubs on this finger.
Yeah, it's in a really awkward spot. You've got all this empty real estate where no one puts anything, no one holds anything there, unless you're holding it like that, which is, like an idiot. Anyway, this needs to go here.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be in a different spot because otherwise I probably do need a grip. I didn't actually think about that because I wasn't thinking I need a grip.
Even with a grip, because the grip's not going to encroach on that little dial. So the grip's going to be quite shallow, or it's going to extend out this end of the camera like one of those kind of, big wooden grips. What else did I like? The menu system is really, having come from a Fuji menu system predominantly, which I find obviously very natural. I found this one quite natural to work through. Everything's in a nice sort of neat, even, you just scroll across menu options. The EVF is good. It's bright. It's comfortable. It's got a nice sort of rubber padding on the back where you push your eye up against it. It has a diopter for people like me with glasses or people just that don't want to wear glasses when they shoot. It's bright and it's got good resolution. The screen, on the other hand, I don't like it. It's low resolution, and it's got that flippy bullshit thing happening that everyone insists on doing these days.
Yeah. So, Greg, I guess a couple of your points that you've just noticed. I've just looked up the OM2, and literally all of those things that you've mentioned come from that camera. So it has a little dial where that front one would be on that finger, and it has the odd-shaped dials on top, odd size.
Yeah.
So if you look at the OM2, it's very so I reckon that they've gone from the nostalgia point of view, and that's probably why
they have left very much
off.
Yeah.
And they're aiming it at that. So I reckon if they had have gone maybe something that worked better and had the same size dials or whatever, I reckon that they would have lost people because people want that look.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To try and keep the DNA of in there, even if everyone that picked the camera up was like,
"This is terrible," or "This is they could have done."
Kind of hurts my fingers, but
even the way, I know I'm being picky here, but even the way that the amount of resistance that each of them has, like they're all different, and maybe that's good because if you're shooting, once you get used to a camera, you rarely look down. Like you can be on the move, you change ISO and shutter speed without having to look at your camera, and having different size dials can help you do that because the big one is this and the smaller one is this. And
coming from a different perspective, obviously because I don't shoot Fuji as my main cameras, I shoot Canon, which is all jog wheels and there's none of that style stuff. I got used to. I didn't even notice that, to be honest. The different sizes and stuff like that. I just kind of got used to what was there, and it didn't.
Because it's all different for you anyway, so it's not.
Yeah,
not like you've come from something maybe better. We have something from better, but it's a completely different system. No, not in
exactly.
I wasn't trying to make a joke, but it is in a different way.
It's a completely different design philosophy. Whereas Greg's kind of like the Fuji's kind of have this design philosophy, so he can compare it more granularly as like, oh, why did they do that instead of this? And why aren't all the dials the same size? Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and this is first impressions. I haven't done any research necessarily on where its heritage has come from because I don't know the system very well, so I can't just recall it like I could with Fujifilm. But really well laid out, nice real estate around each button, very responsive, quick to start up, easy to access menus, having customizable command dials on top makes it super easy to jump right in to shooting. I'm yet to get out in the street and test it. We've had some pretty woeful weather here in Victoria and Melbourne so far this weekend. So I'm going to try and get out tomorrow with it for a bit before I send it back to Justin.
Did it come with a camera strap?
It did come with a camera strap. Thank you very much. It came with a very special little camera strap.
Three.
I know I don't have it. It's in the other room. Sorry, gang.
Look what I've got, Greg.
Oh yes, we've got to do the unboxing.
Yeah, it's a lens for the camera that Greg has. I
many
have
kilometers
lens.
away?
Yeah, we're not far. We're not far. But I just thought it was interesting. I told the guys, I was like, I might get a chance to do some astro, and I'm really interested to see how Micro Four Thirds holds up for astro.
Big. Yeah,
Well,
that's big.
You know, we got to let a lot of light in. And the guys they were just like, we'll send you the lens you need. How good's that?
That's great.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. They didn't know I was going to unbox it.
Yeah, this is taking
on a
far too
live
long.
podcast.
Yeah, this is ASMR gone wrong.
Yeah, if you're listening later on Spotify, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Justin is slowly opening a lens.
Yeah, she
He's
is.
opened it.
Ooh.
Look at it. What did they end up sending me? We've got the 7 to 14 mil 2.8 Pro. Boom.
So what's that?
She's bulby.
13?
Yeah, 14,
yeah.
basically. Yeah. Yep, she's your delightful. Well, that'll be fun.
Cool.
We're going to take it
Are you
up
bringing
to...
that this weekend?
That's the plan. Take it to Brugge. But
okay.
I still don't know if I can actually get that camera back off Greg before this weekend and then get it back down to him for him to finish testing. We'll figure it out.
Ooh,
We've got a plan. But
Yeah,
we're going to put this retro OM3 Micro Four Thirds camera through its paces with some extremely fast dirt bike riders in the sand. So
nice.
if you're listening to this, guys at OM System, I didn't put sand on the sensor.
Yeah, no, that was already there.
It was already there.
Yeah.
All over the camera.
all through the lenses.
Yeah.
You know when you zoom a lens and it goes...
Yeah, that's natural.
Remember last time we were shooting with Chucky in the rain in the sand? We're shooting he just won Dakar.
He's one of the best riders in the world. He wasn't one of the best riders in the world then. He was one of the top 50.
Much.
Now he's the top one.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good, Justin.
Yeah, now it's really, really good.
Yeah, anyway, so we're shooting him in this rain, and our cameras just got coated in sand.
Just destroyed.
Just wet, sandy, yeah.
Yeah. And then the next day we were probably shooting a wedding with him.
Yeah.
Comment here from the Brendan Waits, Down South Photo Show. If you haven't checked it out, check it out after this podcast. Not right now, but after this podcast, go and check them out. They've got some good interviews, some good weekly chats. I haven't caught up on their latest show about auroras. I think they got some between them. Have good access to the Aurora Australis because they're so south.
Yeah,
being in Tassie and down along the Great Ocean Road, whereas we're stuck up here in stinky Bendigo. And Greg's in Melbourne where there's just way too much light pollution.
Yeah, smog.
Anyway, Brendan Waite says, sorry, I got here real late, but I got my hands on the Nikon Z5 Mark II during the week, and I'm struggling to see why this won't be camera of the year.
Oof.
So
now, it's an entry-level full frame from Nikon.
Was it full frame?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
I thought it was like a D500.
No, the Z50 is... Maybe I'm getting this
Z50
wrong.
is an APS-C.
APS-C, but the Z, it's kind of like, it's the entry level full frame, and it's getting great reviews. And so it's what, about $2,500, whereas a Z6 Mark III is closer to $4,000. So it's significantly cheaper. Hang on, Brendan Waite says 3 reasons. Tell us, what are they? Or is that it? That's what we get. There's 3. Or do we have to guess the reasons? Price, and price. Yeah. So for $2,500 for a freshly released full frame mirrorless camera, it's pretty cost effective.
With Nikon's full frame mount and access to their glass and all the third party.
Yeah.
It's a really attractive package.
Yeah.
So what is it about the Mark II that's swaying you that way, Brendan? Let us know.
Okay, so it's got the 24.5 megapixel.
Yeah, it'll have
And
image quality as good as the D750, if not better, because it's newer things. Which is like, things haven't changed that much from that quality of sensor, other than because things have gone mirrorless, electronic shutter, everything's going to faster readout speeds. But the actual just general image quality hasn't jumped in leaps and bounds on your average 24 megapixel full frame sensor.
That's probably a pretty good camera.
Yeah.
Maybe I need one.
Yeah. Robert Varner says the Z5 Mark II is about $1,700 in the US. Cheap.
What's that, about $4.5 million here?
Yeah. Yeah. You can buy a estate with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert could come over here and live like a king. Jumping back to the OM3 DNA, David Dare Parker says, I did own an OM1N and an OM2N many years back. Quick replacement for some stolen Nikons. Long story. But they were beautiful.
We can hear that
cameras.
story in a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah, I think David Dare Parker's joining us fairly soon. Oh, no, maybe it's in a couple of months.
Oh.
Might be in
excited.
September. We're working around schedules.
Yeah, he
is coming on the show.
He's a busy man. Brendan says Z5 Mark II. What is it? No, Z5? Yeah, Z5 Mark II. It's a friggin' bargain. Build quality is fantastic for the price. Read the spec sheet. Bloody awesome. Yeah.
Bloody awesome.
It's good to see so many good cameras coming out. Yeah. You could start a business with any camera except for the X-Half.
Yeah.
But seriously, that was kind of a joke, but it wasn't really a joke because I wouldn't start a business with that camera. But pretty much, I mean, any other X series camera you could. Do you think? Any other current gen X series camera you could start a business with?
Yeah, why not?
You know, like image quality wise, obviously people might say, "Hey, did you bring a real camera?"
Any current generation?
Yeah, current gen X series.
Well, I mean,
X-Half.
Of course, it depends on the business you're running and what the genre is.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like taking photos of whatever, a local photography business, nothing crazy, not crazy architecture or high-end fashion or anything like that. Yeah. I'm just talking about like just general, you know, puppies and kids or weddings or whatever.
Down to the glass, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, I put that XM5, the smallest Fuji at the time, the smallest Fuji X series camera on a 500mm f4.5 prime and shot birds with it. You know, the focus was fast. The image quality was great. Camera didn't care what lens it was on. The lens was doing all the heavy lifting, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah.
Brendan also says, by the way, support your local camera store, folks. Yeah, if you've got a good one, support them. Go in there and buy shit off them.
Well, I don't know if you've tried recently with Justin. So we've got a camera house in our town.
We do.
And I'll call them up and say, hey, can you guys, like these people, like someone else has got this product at a different price. Can you match it? And they'll usually say yes.
Yeah. And look, as much as
you don't have to just get it from the dodgy websites.
No, and as much as they might not be able to match it, everyone has different like deals and buying power and all that sort of stuff. And don't try and screw over your local camera store. But on the other hand, give them an opportunity to sell you the thing. Just because they haven't got it priced at discounted like the big camera store does on the internet, doesn't mean they might not be able to make a call and figure out if they can get the same deal or whatever. Give them a chance. Give them a chance to sell you the thing. And
they can also tell you if they've got it in stock.
This is true.
Which a lot of the websites will say, yeah, it's in stock. And then they say, it ships in 3 weeks.
They'll lie to you.
They just want your money.
Fiji Direct, sorry. Oh, good analogy.
If you're down Ocean Grove Way, drop into Camera and Photo. See Brendan. Just bug him.
Yep. Yeah. Just hang out in the store. Show up drunk.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Break something. But yeah, go and check it out. Go hang out with a camera store person and buy some things. Only the things you want, though. Don't waste money.
Yeah. But I think what you said is really important, Justin, to give the store an opportunity to sell you the product that you want at the price you'd like.
Because it's not always, they're not just, if their prices are higher, it's not always they're just like, oh, well, hopefully someone pays me the most money. I don't want to be competitive. It's just sometimes, if you're running a small store, you know, you can't be constantly checking where everyone's prices are at for every single model of every camera and every lens that's available on the market. So they might be just sitting on your website But meanwhile, you're busy running your store and just thinking, oh, if someone come in, I would certainly look after them where I can. But yeah, they're not going to every day log on the store and see if they need to make a lens $20 cheaper or whatever.
Yeah,
they don't
be
have
realistic
the time
about
to,
what you're asking.
Exactly. So, but yeah, give them a chance to change the price to suit what you need, your budget. But yeah, don't be crazy. They can't give shit away.
It's literally a recommended retail price. Like the camera brands recommend they sell it at this price. They're not doing you a disservice by advertising it at that price. So
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Anyway, what else?
Are we going to get there?
Oh, no, I have to call it a night.
We're at 2 hours.
We're at 1 hour, 59 minutes and 36 seconds. We definitely need to call it very soon. Any other thoughts on the OM3, Greg?
No, I mean, obviously now are you going to let me answer, or are you just going to ask the question?
No, I want I want to know if it excites you at all. You know, like
I'm reaching the cranky end of the night where I get grumpy and short. Oh, whatever. You just made the list, buddy. Yeah, look, I need to get out and shoot with it. Obviously, that's the true test of any good camera. You can sit and pick it apart while it's sitting on while it's just in hand, but getting out and shooting with it will be the true test. I'm excited for it. I think I've played around with it inside. It's sharp, it's fast, it's responsive. I just need to get out and see how it feels. I think you just need to give these cameras a chance, test them properly, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, stay tuned, folks. We will have both a written review and some video content coming out around the OM3 that Justin and I are working on. We're very proud of this new project and this new direction that we're moving in. Next, we'll be reviewing Jim's wardrobe and his collection of flannelette shirts. We're going to review everything.
Review everything.
Everything.
But seriously though, if you have had experience with the OM3, we want to hear from you. If you tested it, or if you've bought one and you've got some opinions, we want to add them to our review. We're trying to make it collaborative. We're trying to make the most collaborative, most authentic camera review that there is on the internet. So hit us up if you've played with one, or ideally if you've purchased one. We want to know why, and we want to see some photos you've made with it and what you think of it.
Yeah. And if there's something that we think is worthy of sharing on here or in our written review, then we'll reach out to you and say, hey, do you mind if we quote you on that? Because like Justin said, we don't just want it to be, here's Greg and Justin yet again, doing the same kind of spiel over. We want to hear from everyday photographers that are using this, professionals, enthusiasts, beginners, anyone. So but it's a work in progress. It's a fun one.
The beginning of big things in the camera world. Watch out. Brendan Wade says, I'll go one better with your audience. Come to my shop in Ocean Grove and I'll buy you a beer and we'll talk cameras. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
You'll probably end up leaving with $5,000 worth of camera gear for the free beer.
You wake up in the morning, what are all these boxes?
What happened?
Where's my wallet?
Oh no, I bought an X half. I need to stop.
He's got to move them. No, he's got to move them somehow.
We're out.
We're done. All right, we calling it?
We are calling it. For everybody that's been watching and listening along, Jesus, I've lost the words. Let me start again. Thank you to everyone who has watched tonight and joined us in the chat. That's what we're all about. We want to hear from you. We can say everything up here because we've got the microphones and the fancy headphones, but realistically, we just want to hear from you guys, everyday photographers, people that are using this gear or want to use this gear or have questions about the craft, or if you're struggling or you're succeeding, we want to hear about it. The camera life is all about community, which is why we do what we do and why we love what we do. But don't forget that the camera life is proudly brought to you by Lucky Straps from Bendigo, Victoria, makers of handmade leather camera straps. We will ship them to pretty much anywhere in the world.
We do.
And they come from our hands to yours, quite literally.
Yeah. And
but head to Lucky's.
You go. No, you go.
Code Greg. It's code Greg.
Were you trying to get your code in, Jim? Is that what you were doing?
He's so desperate. You're flying coach to Japan.
I think
I'm going
Justin's
business
actually
class.
winning. I think Justin's actually winning because he's got the QR code.
In case any of you are wondering that are new to the show, we have these codes, Justin, Jim, and Greg. They all give you the same discount, which is 15% off, I'm pretty sure. I think it is 15% off. Yeah. So they all give you 15% off. We're having competition to see who gets used the most. And don't worry, these aren't like normal discount codes you hear on podcasts where each person gets a kickback. These guys get nothing for other than glory.
Zero kickbacks.
There's no kickbacks. It's just glory. So feel free.
Fun. It's just having some fun.
If you want one of these leather padded, delightful camera straps. Look at this. Yep. This one's customized with media on it, so you can just sneak into concerts and stuff. That's why I made that one. No one will. Who would question that? Look, it's gold.
Yeah,
you can sneak
that's like
in
Greg
anywhere.
Carrick. Greg Carrick just wears a high vis vest and he just walks in everywhere.
Carry
no
a
one
ladder.
stops him or question. But look, head to luckystraps.com. Have a look. There's a whole range of different straps. There's wrist straps. There's deluxe padded leather straps. There's just fairly standard leather straps. We also sell belts. We sell merch. We sell T-shirts and hoodies. We sell gloves. They're not our gloves, but we sell them.
Yeah, that's true. Winter gloves.
Is coming.
If you're getting cold in Australia, we've got some wintry photography gloves with flip back fingers, which are pretty cool. So you can access your camera.
Or if you want to pick up a pair for the next holidays, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you want to prepare for winter, then the gloves are the way to go. But look, either way, head to luckystraps.com and chances are if you place an order, it'll be Justin, Jim, or Yelena who will fulfill your order and actually send it out to you. But look, that has been the Camera Life Podcast, a random photography show for this day, the 9th of June, 2025, episode, what did we say, 80-something?
Something. And we'll see you on Thursday if you want to join us for our interview with Craig Watto-Watson, who has had a massive career of photography, press, film, motorsport, heaps of stuff. It's going to be great.
Running a gallery, print lab, you name it, he's done it. We're going to catch up with him this week on Thursday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So check your local times, or even better yet, hit the bell icon and ask to be notified of any upcoming videos, and that way you'll get a little bit of a pre-warning when we're about to go live. That's it. But I think on that note,
thanks, Jim. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Greg Carrick, that Aussie photographer. Another good YouTube channel to check out if you want some videos that are not your standard photography YouTube videos, something a little bit left of center. Go check out Greg Carrick, that Aussie photographer on YouTube. Robert Varner says there's an Ocean Grove in New Jersey. Lol. Thanks for joining us, Robert. Hope it's, lunchtime in New Jersey or whatever. Have a good day. Paul says good night. Philip Johnson says thanks, gents.
Whoa. You missed one. What? You missed Bruce?
No, we didn't miss Bruce.
Bruce says thanks, Jim, and everyone else. You were awesome. I skipped it on purpose. Brendan Waite says thanks, lads. Great episode. Coming with a Bendigo-ish based photographer on Down South. Drops Friday. Oh, cool. We'll keep an eye out for that. And David Dare Parker says thanks, guys. Great to see you, David. Great to see you, everybody. Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.